Okay, guys, thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I see you just joined us. I'm very happy to see all of you here. Okay. Guys, please type something. No, I wouldn't like to have your cameras on. Please turn off your cameras if you would. Please type something something like plus or yes, something that make us know that you hear us and see us very well. Thank you very much, guys. Well, you obviously know me. My name is Oleg. I'll not make a long introduction this time because today we have a very special guest. The guest we discussed this masterclass about, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. It took me to bring him here. Yes, I see the pluses. Yes, seems everything is okay. Valeria, hello. Well, so Alexis or Alex, yes. So it's more like, oh, we can't hear you now. Say something.
Yes. Hello everybody. Okay. So I am Alex Valasidis. I can speak some Ukrainian. I can say Дякую, що завітали на мою зустріч. Я дуже радий бути на цій зустрічі з вами. So that's all I know in Ukrainian. So it's an honor for me to be here with you guys today. Thank you very much. I am half Greek, half German, but I live in Spain, in Barcelona. And I would like to speak to you about what I do the last years, and that is sales. So we are ready to start, Oleg?
Yes, we're ready to start. Just for your information, guys, this masterclass will be like about 30 or 35 minutes, the slides and the presentation, and then we're gonna have the Q&A session, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. Everything depends on the number of questions. So basically, Alex will share his experience, and then he will answer all questions you have.
Okay.
So yes, Alex, it's your turn.
Thank you.
I'm turning out for now.
Thank you for inviting me in this meeting. So I have a lot to share with you guys. So let me tell you some words about me. Sales is what I do all my life. There's nothing else that I did besides sales. So I'm a pure salesperson, a pure salesman. And let me tell you also that I am an old school sales guy. So now I'm going to talk to you about inside sales and the new world and the sales in the new agency. And if that comes out of my mouth, that means that it's a big deal and it's worth pursuing that way of sales. So what changed in sales in the year 2020? So I would like to start with a cartoon. I don't know if you remember Scooby-Doo from the 80s. That was a cartoon where always Scooby-Doo and his friends, they went through different adventures with ghosts and thieves and bad guys. But what was special with Scooby-Doo was that at the end, they revealed who was behind the mask, who was the person that was making everything happen. So this is a little joke about the conspiracies that are all around us here in the new digital age. So who was really behind coronavirus? And the answer is Zoom. Zoom is behind coronavirus. That, of course, is a joke, but the meaning of the joke is that there are a lot of companies that benefited from the new situation. And the reason why they benefited is that a tendency that already existed in the market, and the tendency was that everything goes digital, including sales. And that was a tendency that every year more and more and more companies started to go digital and started to make digital sales. So if you see, according to Forbes, if you see the 10 biggest changes that happened in business in 2020, number 2 is the continuation of remote works environments plus expansion of remote work, while the 4th point is accelerating of digital information. And that is something that everybody that is in this field, in the field of inside sales and of digital sales, has experienced deeply in his skin how coronavirus opened the eyes to many businesses and accelerated this process, accelerated this tendency that was already there. So what is exactly inside sales? Inside sales refers to any type of sales that are handled remotely. Over the past decade, inside sales has come to be the dominant sales models for representatives in B2B, tech, SaaS, and a variety of B2C industries selling high-ticket items. Inside sales is not a call center. Inside sales is not telemarketing. That is something very important for you to keep in mind, because many times both terms are being confused. What is the big difference? Telemarketing is always scripted. It focuses on selling relatively low ticket items and almost never involves multiple touches. In other words, it's a call is do or die. A deal is quickly closed or lost, and then the agent moves to the next lead. So if you put inside sales next to call center, you are going to see all these plus and minuses. So those are the most important ones. So on a call center, you have low quality and low educational level of agents. On the other hand, on inside sales, you have sales agents with high educational level. Call center is mostly B2C. Inside sales is always B2B. Call center, each call is do or die. Inside sales is a complex sales process that involves multiple touches with multiple players and multiple decision makers in the markets of interest. A call center, the main KPI is the high quantity of calls. On inside sales, it's not the quantity of calls that is defining the result, but it's the quality of calls. That does not mean that the quantity is also a parameter, but it's a parameter that is not as important as is the quality of the calls. The call center calls are not sales calls. The inside sales call are purely sales call, where a sales guy, a saleswoman is behind the telephone and she's going through different persons in a company in order to pitch the decision maker, bring him on the table, and follow up and eventually sell the solution that the company has or the client of the company has. Call center is cheap, while inside sales is medium to high expensive. I will get back to this point a little bit later on this presentation. So if you have traditional sales and things change, the world changes, the world becomes a unique place. It's not anymore like 20, 30 years ago where a salesman placed some calls, he sent some faxes, he took his bag and he visited the clients of interest. If you ask my opinion, the best way to do sales is when you personally visit somebody the old traditional way with your bag. This approach, however, has a lot of practical disadvantages. And the main practical disadvantage that it has is it's high costly. And secondly, you can reach not the amount of potential prospects that you can reach by building an inside sales model. So if you compare the traditional sales with inside sales, then we are talking about cost efficiency in an incredible higher level than visiting somebody traditionally. You have way bigger coverage, You can reach multiple markets. You have the organizational structure. You reduce the risk. You are more flexible. You are present in the country of interest. So you have a German salesperson calling companies in Germany. It's like you are a German company. Keep that in mind, okay? Regardless from where you come, you have a German salesperson or a French or an English, native English salesperson calling in the UK. You are a UK company. And you have also very good control mechanism. The downside of this business, if I can put one that comes in my mind immediately, that is the high retention rate. So if people don't work with you in an office, they are one click away of leaving you, of letting you your company. And that's the big minus in these operations. However, I think that the benefits are so overwhelming, more important than the negative part, that it's worth a go. So now, through my experience, we help companies, software companies, tech companies, SaaS companies, sell their products and services in multiple European and international markets, but we also help traditional trading companies sell their products either directly or through the channel. Is that possible? The answer is yes, it's possible. There is, however, here something that you have to be very careful. What is the big problem? What is the big problem? The big problem is the educational level of the people that are involved in the market of interest, in the market that you are targeting. The general educational level. And let me explain that a little bit in detail. So obviously, if you sell a software solution, you call these companies where everybody speaks English, everybody knows about technology, everybody is familiar with online invitations, online presentations. So far, so good. If you move away from this technology, these computer companies and tech companies, and you want to sell something physical, something practical, then you have to think two things. You have to have two things in your mind. Is the product that I'm selling a sophisticated product? Is the market that I'm targeting a market that consists predominantly from people that have a high educational level, regardless if they are in the technology sector or not? That is very important. Let me give you an example. If you sell, for instance, machines for opticians, for optical stores, those machines are high complex machines that they require some professional behind to use those devices. This professional might be a doctor, this professional might be somebody that studies optical. So it's somebody that has spent years in a university, in a school, and he can use technology. He might not be an expert, but you can show the device, you can have an online call. Probably the language is not a barrier, probably he speaks somehow more or less English. So to penetrate a market like that, or if you are in a business like that, it's relatively okay. You can make your first steps, and I advise you to make your next steps in this arena, because that is the future. That is where things are going to go. In contrary, if you are targeting a market where the general educational level is not in a very high standard, then people are not familiar with technology, people are not familiar with computers, and people probably don't speak English. We used to sell for a client of us accessories for trucks for the German market. Language was a barrier. People didn't speak other language than German. And what regards the arranging online meetings, that was also an issue. That was something that they were not used to. They were used to personal visits, to telephone calls. So that was an obstacle. So be aware of that. The next topic is which countries should be targeted for different products or services. Okay. I want to speak for this topic in general. I don't know from you in what business you are. So maybe you are on a business that a particular country, it might be of particular interest. I don't doubt that, and I cannot know that. So this chapter is a very generic chapter, but I want to go through some very important points here. So please listen, because that is going to save you a lot of money, and it's going to help you really do big steps forward. So you can see here the map of Europe. In general, what you see as dark green are the countries of Europe that are the wealthiest countries of Europe. Okay, so you have Germany, you have the UK, France, Spain. You have also other countries that are light green, but are very, very powerful countries. They are light green because the size of the country is not very big. So compared, for example, if you compare Switzerland with Germany, then Switzerland is light green. But I tell you, all the money is in Switzerland. But in general, you get the picture. You get the picture. So what is red or dark red or light red, it's not as a strong economy as it is dark green. So our experience in Europe is the following. What regards to UK? So UK, it's a very friendly market. You talk to people, there's an excellent, you talk to people, let me explain that. I don't want to pass it. We also do many calls in the United States. In the United States, when you call, you seldom speak to a person. You always land to a voicemail. It's very tough, and especially in bigger companies in the US, to get somebody on the phone. In the UK, in contrary, you're gonna get somebody on the phone. That might be the secretary, but it's going to be a person, a human person. So you call in the UK, you talk to people, excellent business culture, language is not a barrier at all. If there is a country to do business in Europe, that is the UK. UK would be my #1 choice of doing business in Europe. There are two negative parts what regards the UK. The one is that the UK is not anymore an EU country, and that might be problematic. Maybe not, but maybe it might be what regards taxes, what regards imports and exports. And the second thing that is very important for the UK is that you should know that it's a saturated market, in the sense that every Indian can pick up a telephone and make a call to the UK because they speak English, and those companies in the UK are bombarded in a daily basis from Indian call centers that they try to sell them things. So in that way, it's kind of tough to get in this market. In contrary, the Netherlands, or as an extension, the Benelux, again, it's a very friendly country. The language is not a barrier. Netherlands is like second language is English speaking, so they are almost natively speaking English. A very straightforward, not complex country to do business, to communicate, very friendly. Same wise is Ireland, which is an excellent country. It is European Union, everybody speaks English, and you have to think also about Ireland two things. It's the concentration of all technology companies in Europe. They are there. A lot of American companies have a basis in Ireland, and it's a high concentrated market if you are in the technology sector. The next very important market that you should target, you should go and you should sell in this market is the DACH region. And DACH stands for Deutschland, Austria, and Confederation Helvetica, so Switzerland. So are these three countries, these German-speaking countries. Why is Germany such an important country for inside sales and for our sales model? There are two reasons. Two reasons. Remember my words. First of all, it's a booming economy. You are talking about thousands of well-constructed, money-making companies. You have a booming economy. You have hundreds or thousands of companies that would have interest purchasing your services or your goods. But the second part is the most interesting part for Germany. Language is a barrier. So the German market is not a saturated market. It's not the UK where everybody's calling in the UK to sell something. In Germany, it's not the case because people don't speak German. So if you have a salesperson that speaks German, a German salesperson, and you call to Germany, you find open horizons to sell your products. It's a virgin, almost a virgin market to sell your products. So I definitely recommend you to target Germany as a potential market to sell your products. With Germany goes together Austria. It's a smaller country, more or less it's the same concept, but I separated Switzerland. And the reason why I separated Switzerland is, one reason is that Switzerland, they speak German, but they don't speak only German, they speak also French and Italian. But another reason is that language is not a barrier in Switzerland. It's a high educational level country, a country with amazing amounts of money to be spent, very smart people, very smart professionals, very way ahead than the rest of Europe, in my opinion. A very interesting market. It's a non-EU market, okay? That's might be an issue. Other than that, it's an amazing market. France, of course, and Italy are fantastic markets, big European markets. Language is a barrier in France. Language is a barrier in Italy, not as much as in France, but it is a barrier. So if you are on the technology sector, everybody's going to speak English. But if you move a little bit outside of this area, you need a local guy, because if you don't have a local guy, English is not going to work. Spain, in the other hand, it might be not the economic superpower that is Italy or France or Germany. It's a strong economy, but the big benefit of Spain is, from the one side, language is not that kind of an issue, but the big benefit of Spain is that it's the door to a huge market, which is the South American market. So Spain, it's not only Spain. Spain means access to South America. So keep that in mind. Another area of Europe of high interest are the Nordics. And with Nordics, I mean Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Finland. High interesting markets, a lot of very interesting companies, nice guys, everybody speaks English, so definitely do the Nordics. The rest of the Europe, forget it. Yes, forget it. I don't doubt that there are going to be companies in Greece or in Bulgaria or in Poland that you might be able to sell your services or products, but they are not many. Maybe they're facing economical issues. So you're going to have a lot of problems and problems and problems. So I would put them at the end. I wouldn't prioritize the rest of Europe at all. So defining the right companies. Define the right companies what regards the matters of size, first of all, in matters of if they receive funding or not, and in terms of if they are startups, spin-offs, etc. There are certainly also other reasons to segment the market, but those other reasons are related to your company and what are the solutions and the products that you are selling. So I cannot know that. You know that better than me, but there you can find information in LinkedIn. Use Sales Navigator, that is obligatory. There is no way to do inside sales with no Sales Navigator. It's a paid solution of LinkedIn. It's not expensive. It costs something like around $60 per month. Crunchbase is a solution that gives a lot of information regarding economical data of companies. It's also a paid solution, costs something around $300, I think, per year. And Finsmess is a very interesting website where you can find companies that received recently a funding. So people that received money are more probably to be able to spend money. So I want you to go with some points, and specifically some points that that I had many conversations with companies from the Ukraine and from Russia. And the main point that I would like to address here is, what is your unique selling point? What is your unique selling proposition? So what does your product, what does your service do? Okay, so why somebody should choose you? So if you tell me we are good and we are cheap, that's not a unique selling point. Everybody's going to claim that it's good and cheap. So my advice on this, especially for those companies that are on crazy, what I call a crazy crowded marketplace. What is a crazy crowded marketplace? A crazy crowded marketplace is, for example, we are website developers. There are thousands of website developers. We have a CRM. There are hundreds of CRMs outside. So in those cases, my advice is find a niche, specialize on something. So we are website developers specialized on this specific industry and only this industry. And we are the best in this industry. Don't go generic, go special. Define what your unique selling point is. Another point that I want to address is a lot of companies are searching for salespeople to pay them on a commission base only. Get over this illusion. You are not going to find nobody that is going to work on a commission-based only scheme if there is no history of the sales that can be generated for this product or service. And if we are talking about selling a complex service or a sophisticated product, do you expect somebody to really work for 3 months for free in order somehow to get a commission after 3 months? Get real, get down to the world, forget these illusions. You have to pay to find a good salesperson. What regards companies from Ukraine and Russia, I have to say this. You guys, you have a very, very big advantage. I know a lot of companies in the European Union that would like to make business with Russian and Ukrainian companies because there is not a cultural difference as it is with Asian companies from India or from other parts of Asia. So we are on the same frequency of mind. So if you are even a little bit more expensive, doesn't matter. It's not only about the price, it's also about the quality that I'm going to get. So I think you have really good chances going to a booming economy in Europe, in Germany, in the UK. Refine your solution, find your unique selling point, identify your niche, put a Western European face on your company, and I am sure you are going to have a lot of success. So how to pick up the appropriate decision makers? That is something that it shouldn't be very difficult if the company that you are targeting, it's a small company. So the size of the company, it's a decisive factor of how to identify the right decision maker in a company. In smaller companies, in startups, spin-offs, it's quite easy to pick up the right decision maker. If you pick up the telephone and you call to this company, maybe the guy that's going to pick up the phone is going to be the ultimate decision maker. If you see a company like that, is the manager, the managing director, the CEO, maybe another 3-4 persons. So it's very easy to identify who the right person is. But what happens in medium or bigger companies? The right person might be more difficult to identify, certainly is more difficult to reach. So you are the one that understands your business better, you know your business better. There is, however, a process on communicating with the right decision maker. Let me explain. So when you are out there to reach out on a medium or a large corporation or medium or large company, which has hundreds or thousands of people working on this company. My advice is, first of all, define with whom you want to speak and put this person as a #1 priority to call. Next to this person, generate a list of not more two or three variable decision makers that might be the right ones. So if you target the sales manager, you can put this, the regional sales manager, the sales and marketing manager would be alternative decision makers. Why is that important? Because if you call to reach out to this guy and you don't find him, you're going to go to priority B or to priority C. Always have, no, sorry, before I say that, let me say this. If you try to reach out to those guys and you find none of them, then try to reach out to more junior guys and try to get connected with a more senior guy through them. So if the sales manager is not available and you cannot reach him through the sales and marketing manager or the sales regional manager, call the sales guy in the company and tell him that I would like to speak with your boss. He might bring you in connection. Then keep two persons always in your mind. If you don't go ahead, reach for the HR department. Call the HR department with confidence and straightforward ask with whom you would like to speak and who the right person to speak is. Normally, they help you out. Now, finally, if you cannot reach none of those guys, then go for the head. Go for the highest guy. What's going to happen? He's going to say no? Probably. But in sales, you have only two outcomes. You have either a yes or you have a no. There is no other outcome. What can be the other outcome? We are not available now, call us back in 3 months. Is there a specific reason for that? If yes, then call them after 3 months. But if there is a reason to avoid you, it's better you push a yes or a no. If the sales manager doesn't like you and he says no, go for the head. What's going to happen? The sales manager is going to get offended? Probably. What you lost? Anyway, it was a burnt card, wasn't it? So, yes. The top guy is not necessarily the appropriate decision maker. So I think that is clear. So if you call on a big company, the CEO is not going to be the one in charge about a specific product. So there is a product manager, a purchasing manager. Those guys are more appropriate to find and to call. You don't want to call to the highest guy first because you don't want to get a final no. Because if you get a final no, then it's very difficult to move further. Listen with the person that you are speaking. Listen what he has to say, because maybe you are going to discover that the decision maker is a different person than the person that you thought. Ask him, qualify him, ask him qualification questions. There is a model, it's called BANT. BANT stands for budget, authority, need, and time. So budget means, do you have the money, Mr. Jones, to purchase the solution? Authority is, are you the decision maker? Need is there value for my product in your company? Time is, when you could probably purchase the solution if you find out that it brings value in your organization. Those are very important questions to ask. You might discover that the decision maker is somebody else. And think a little bit deeper. I don't like to speak with employees. I need to speak with employees in bigger companies, but the reason why I don't like to speak with employees is that there is a lot of agenda and policy behind. There is a famous saying, no one ever got fired for buying IBM. So the story is the sales manager, the purchasing manager of a company bought an IBM computer, and when this computer failed, he said to the rest of the company, hey guys, I bought IBM, that's the best company out in the market, to save his position. the owner, the guy on the head, he looks at the good of his company, at the company that he's working with. The more junior guys, the more guys underneath, they look on their personal agenda. Have this in the back of your mind and think what you have to say in which person. What regards lead generation? Lead generation is something that sounds easy, but I assure you it's way more complex than you think. So I would like to define lead generation in two main categories. The one category is the cold lead generation, and the second category is the warm or hot lead generation. The first one refers to a sales company like we are, while the second one has to do with marketing companies. Let me define what is warm lead and hot lead. Warm and hot lead is somebody that books a discovery call to talk with me because he gets to know me, he gets to know my company, and he wants to have a consultancy with me. This guy, it's a hot lead, and the conversion rate for this guy, it's a very high conversion rate. Very high means something between 30, maybe 50%, depends on the industry, depends on the product. A warm lead, from the other side, is somebody that shows interest in the market that I am active. For example, somebody downloads a white paper regarding sales outsourcing, but he doesn't show a direct interest in my company. Again, the conversion rate of those leads is again high, and that means 10%. The cold lead generation is something that a company like us does, that we are a sales company. That means we search the markets of interest and we find potential prospects that would have interest on the solution that our client is selling. Those people, they have no clue. We search for them. They don't know us. They are completely cold leads. Calling cold leads, you have a conversion rate of 1%, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, but those are the numbers as a rule of thumb. So by lead generation, find the right players on the company, define exactly who are the key players are, and use LinkedIn Sales Navigator or other tools to find the decision makers in their organization. Define if you want to speak with the head office or the country branch would also do the work. So you sell your solution and you call on an American company based in Germany. Are those guys the decision makers, or do you have to call in the States in order to finalize the deal? Enhance the lead you create. So you search on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. My advice is use tools like Lucia, use tools like Hunter, and besides the LinkedIn URL of the person that you want to contact and the LinkedIn URL of the company where the person works is being identified, use Lucia. It's a fantastic tool. It's kind of expensive, but it provides you with telephone numbers and emails. Hunter is also a solution. Seamless is also a solution. There are also other solutions out there. Prioritize the leads that you find. Check for duplicates. Be aware of the role. So that is a mistake that very often happens. So somebody search for the lead, search for sales manager. He finds a guy working in company A, but he doesn't know that he was sales manager on the previous company. His current role is a different one. So be aware on how accurate the roles are that you find. Upload them on your CRM and start engaging them. You have to build a sales process from A to Z. So now that you know with whom you are speaking, you have to construct the following communication in order to be successfully address those markets. Construct your sales pitch. Your sales pitch is a reference. Write down your sales pitch. It does not mean, you don't want to give the sales pitch and give it to a salesperson and tell him, that's your sales pitch, read that to the client, to the guy that you're gonna call. No, the sales pitch is a reference. It's for him to have it next to his desk, to look at it if he forgets something or he wants more information. It's better that he makes a mistake by speaking freely to the decision maker than to read a script and sound like a robot. The sales script should also include qualification questions. Why? To qualify the prospect, you're gonna say, yes, to qualify the prospect, but there is another hidden reason behind. And the hidden reason and the more important reason is because you want to build rapport with the person that you are speaking. Nobody's going to come and sit with you on a table if he speaks to you only 1 or 2 minutes. So the qualification questions serve as an alibi in order to create a rapport with the guy that you are talking. Once you have the rapport, you're going to bring him to the table, you're going to be friends, everything is going to be easier. So here we have a sample of a sales pitch. You are going to be able to find this on the shared folder after this webinar. So keep it short, keep it to the point. No need to over explain something. So what are the challenges on the cold calling? So that's a very wide topic, and we can have a special session on that. But let me go on some points which I regard to be very important. So first of all, you call and you're going to face the gatekeeper, the secretary. There are 3 kinds of secretaries: the good ones, the bad ones, and the intermediate ones. 80% are the intermediate ones. So the good ones are the ones that are going to help you create, establish a communication with the decision maker. You want them to have a very good relationship with them. Don't abuse your communication with them, the relation you build with them, because they are your key to the decision makers. The bad ones now are the ones that are going to tell you when you call, we are not interested on your product. So it's not her role to decide if that's of interest. It's the decision of the decision maker. Those are the tough ones. You have to find a way to go through them and pass through them in order to speak to the decision makers. There are some tactics which gladly I can explain to you in private if you book a private call with me. The majority of the secretaries are the average secretaries. They are doing a very nice work. They are very nice ladies. They want to protect the decision makers for guys like us that they want to sell them stuff. So if I can give you some very short advices here, be confident. Your confidence, the way you speak, is your key to pass through them. Break the pattern. Those ladies, they have a pattern of conversation. Hello, how are you? Don't follow the pattern. Break the pattern. You want to speak to the decision maker. Don't take no as an answer. What happens when you pass the gatekeeper? Either you land to a voicemail. Here I have a 50-50% opinion. So sometimes I leave a voicemail, sometimes I don't. Depends. Or you land to a colleague. If you land to the colleague, say who you are exactly and say why you called, say the reason. And then you have the decision maker on the phone. When you have the decision maker on the phone, think on the following. So listen to me, I'm very experienced on that. So first of all, you have 5 to 10 seconds to attract his attention. 5 to 10 seconds on the telephone. So be straight to the point, be super confident, say these keywords that you want to say within these 5 and 10 seconds, and then ask him, do you have 2 minutes for me now, Mr. Jones? That's very important to ask him, because if he says yes, then take a deep breath and explain to him in peace what your product does and what your goal is. There are 2 key phrases that I use that people always listen to them. So the one is, I use the wording, the reason of my call is blah, blah, blah. And the second one is, my goal is, the intention of this call is this. When I say these wordings, they always listen to what I have to say next. Handle objections, define if the objections that you are receiving from them are real objections or false objections. If they are real objections, there is real interest there. Qualify them and book a discovery call, or sell your solutions, or follow up with the next steps of the sales process. What regards the email communication, here are some tips about the email that you have to write. Let it be short and to the point. Short emails, no long emails. The subject should be a sincere subject, simple, with no capital letters, with no exclamation marks. The content of the email should attract the attention, and you have to realize that you are not a priority. Why I'm saying that? Because I see many emails starting like, my name is this and blah, blah, blah. No one cares. Okay, put who you are at the end. Have there one call to action. Listen, one call to action, not many. Not click here, do this, click that. No, one click to action. Book a call with me here, period. That's it. And avoid complex signatures. Many systems block images, block JPGs, PNGs. So have your signature with letters as simple as possible. So here we have like some email samples. You can look at them afterwards. Prepare also your social media communication, okay? So in my company, we use a 5-method call and emailing approach, which includes social media messaging. That means LinkedIn messaging or Sync messaging or other kinds of local media messaging. Many times they are very responsive. So people that don't answer in their email, they might answer on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn communication, Sync communication, Sales Navigator communication, and so on. So here is a sample of the sales process. You can look at that afterwards. Okay, here is a topic that I would like to address is the GDPR. Here you have a link where you can read more about this topic. Let me tell you in advance, I am not a lawyer, neither am an expert with regards to GDPR. In general, you should keep in mind this. As long as you are doing a B2B communication that adds value to the organization that you are calling, there is legitimate interest for you to call them. The numbers that you are calling, it's their company telephone numbers, their mobile phone that they published online. That's the mobile phone that Lucia finds. You don't call him at his house. You don't email him at his personal email address. So business is conducted since thousands of years because people speak to each other. That's how we do sales. Now, my advice is, what regards this topic, ask your lawyer, ask somebody that is an expert. You can find more information there. But from the other side, either don't be too much afraid to place a call, okay? It's not the end of the world. So hiring EU representatives, who to hire, what to avoid, and how to control. So you have 3 kinds of players in this market. You have the junior guys, you have the senior guys, and the guys that are in between. The junior guys are, you have to be careful on the junior guys on the following topics. First of all, they need to have sales experience. Don't hire a sales guy, a junior one, that doesn't have a sales experience, or hire one that doesn't have because you want to give him the opportunity. Yes, but what happens is sales, it's a tough cookie. Sales, it's a tough business. So you hire a rookie, you have him on the phone, and after a week he resigns because he realizes it's too tough for him. So you want to hire somebody that knows what sales is about. Language skills are important. So which languages he speaks and at which level. Another important thing is what is the quality of the person that you are hiring. How does he speak on the telephone? You are going to call CEOs of companies. So you need somebody that knows how to speak. You want to hire a student. You want to have somebody that has a certain quality as a person. He's hungry to learn. And also, if he knows the culture of the country that he's calling, he's an additional benefit, right? It's not the same in Spain and the same in Sweden. So there are different cultures, people react differently. As a second choice, I go from the junior to the senior guy. So the senior guy that normally is 45 plus, he's a very experienced in consultational sales. He can do in-depth discovery calls. he's going to be expensive, and he might have computer issues. He's not going to have the energy that a younger guy has. And depending on the role that you want him, if you want to have complex consultatory sales of a higher level, I say go after those guys. But if you want also somebody to do cold calls, these guys are not going to do cold calling. For me, the best alternative is to search and find medium-age sales sharks that take the dirty work, but are also mature enough for consultatory work. Those guys are most of the times between 25 and 45. They're computer literate. They have a lot of energy, and they are, as they say in English, willing to carry the bag, not just to wear the watch. So that's all from me, guys. So I ran a little bit fast because we were running out of time. So now it's the Q&A session. Oleg, you are the expert. Advise me how we do further.
Yes, guys. If you have any questions, please address them on the chat. And while you are typing your questions, I have personal questions of mine. Thank you very much for your speech. It was quite interesting and insightful. And first question from me is, do you have any experience working with Xing? This is a German social network, same as LinkedIn. Have you had any experience working in it? And the second question, it's also a part of this question. What other tools would you recommend to use? Is there some local tools in countries like Spain, France, same as LinkedIn or Xing or something?
Okay, so let me answer your question. Yes, I do have experience with Xing. The thing with Xing is this. Most of the times, everybody that is in Xing is also in LinkedIn. There is, however, a local color in Xing. So there are people that, I mean, you might not get someone, a German guy, you might not get him on LinkedIn, you might send him emails and he's not going to be responsive, but you're going to get him on Xing. So Xing is definitely a tool of value. I use Xing. I use more LinkedIn. But I certainly advise somebody to use Xing if he targets the German market. And the way we do it is, our sales process is we send an email, okay? We monitor the email if it's open. If we see that the email is open, we place a call. And the day we place the call, we send also a LinkedIn or a Xing connect request. So then we follow up with a second call, with a second email. If the person is not responsive, then we start communicating with him via LinkedIn or via Xing. So if he accepted the connect request on LinkedIn, you can message him directly, or you can start messaging him on Xing. People that are not going to be responsive on LinkedIn or via email, they might be responsive on Xing. So Xing, it definitely brings value. So what regards other tools in other countries, I don't have now specific names to recommend. Depends on the industry and depends on which area you are active. In general, the big player in corporate is LinkedIn. However, LinkedIn is not very strong in other industries. So depends on the industry that you are in. Yeah.
Okay, great. The next question is from Alexander. Facebook in Europe working? Using Facebook in selling in Europe?
Again, my answer would be depends. Depends on the market that you are targeting. For me personally, it doesn't work, okay? Because we are on a B2B sector. The people that we are addressing are not on Facebook. What works is LinkedIn and LinkedIn groups. That works definitely. However, I've heard from other people that in certain industries, Facebook is a great tool. And I believe them. So I would say it depends on the industry that you are active.
Mm-hmm. Well, mostly all of us are selling IT development, IT outsourcing development. So it's something like service for companies, helping them digitalize processes or something like this.
I can see other questions on the chat, Oleg. I can address these questions if you like me to.
Yes, question. Do you see it possible to maintain really close and solid business relations in terms of networking online without a personal meet?
Yes, what do you mean by I would like to know what do you mean by solid business relations? Absolutely, but you don't have to meet somebody online. You don't have to meet him in person. You can maintain this relationship online. But here, I don't want that you misunderstand. When you approach somebody, this starting of your sales approach should have a start and should have an end. Because the way you put it is, okay, let me call, let me have some relationship, and no. You want to conclude to a result, okay? Of course, you can maintain relationships. Of course, you can stay online connected forever, but the approach, the sales approach has a start and has an end, okay? I don't know if I answer your question, so I hope yes.
Me personally, I think the question is more about like, the signing big contracts without meeting in person.
Absolutely,
only with
100%, 100%, 100%, absolutely. If you can visit them in person, even better. I like visiting people. So if it's a big deal, take an airplane and go and visit them, but you don't have to. We conducted closings of millions of dollars through the ocean between US and UK without the people ever meeting each other. Everything electronically. Yeah.
Okay, next question from Vladlen. What about roadshow sales? Some advice from your experience. Roadshow sales, it means selling on conferences or big events.
I like those kind of sales. I'm an old school guy. That's my style. I like it. It excites me to do that. If you have the opportunity, go ahead, go for that. I'm not against. So if you want, I mean, let me tell you this. This whole online business, it's somehow in certain aspects of that, it's over evaluated. So people believe that by sending emails, they are going to make sales. That's not the case. It's the personal touch that makes a sale. So if I can put, for example, social communication, email communication, compared to calling somebody, the weight is 95% of the weight is on the call and 5% is all the rest. So, I mean, absolutely, yes. If you find a sweet point there, if you have the opportunity, go ahead and do that. Absolutely, yes.
And could you share with us, please, some tips for selling on the conference or exhibition? Because we are like all are locked down now, but I hope soon all the conferences will be like restarted. And just few tips how to be successful on selling in the conference.
Okay, so the conference, it's a personal meeting with the person that you want to sell. So it's a pure sales activity. So it's the traditional sales. So if I can say, if there's one tip that I can give, so once you are in this conference and you meet the people and you greet the people, get their contact details, get their email, get their LinkedIn. There are also ways where you can digitally, directly, for example, I know there are tools where on your mobile phone, you can directly put the name and the email of the person that you are talking, and automatically this guy subscribes on your email list. So you have them there on your list, and he's going to receive future communication from you.
Okay. What makes a salesperson, let me read this because this is quite a big, makes a salesperson should focus on one's career from your point of view, some personal brand, some specific. Okay, okay, let me rephrase it. Salesperson should focus more on a personal brand or more or product, because people buy from people, not from companies, and how to find this balance between the personal brand and between a company's brand. And also according to LinkedIn, because it is a social network, and LinkedIn is completely about the social selling. And you, like, how to make this balanced, in your opinion?
Well, the sales, I mean, that is, it's a very good question. It's a very complex question. You have to find a balance. So, I mean, can an excellent salesperson sell a solution that is bad, or can a very good solution sell itself without a good salesperson? Well, a salesperson cannot bring wonders. So there has to be a brand. And the better the brand and the better the product, the better the good salesperson can sell. However, a very good product and a brand itself, it might be influence the sales of the salesperson, but depends on the product and depends on the brands. There are brands that they sell by themselves. So if you go on a car exhibition and you want to buy a Mercedes, it's not the salesperson that it's going to convince you to buy the Mercedes. So the guy that goes inside already took the buying decision prior of getting there. I think for the majority of us that we are selling not that known solutions, the salesperson is the key element. The salespersons in your organization are the most important persons. They are the spearhead of your company. They are the ones that bring you the money. So I know salespersons very good. So salespersons are very good in certain aspects. There are other aspects of their personality that it's miserable. You have to deal with that. You have to live with that, because I am a salesperson myself, and I manage salespersons, and I know the problems that I have with salespersons, but you have to compromise because they bring you the money. So for us, that is going to make a difference. Imagine you have a very good, excellent German-speaking salesperson in Germany. Oh, it's the person that's going to make the difference. If you are Coca-Cola now, if you are Mercedes, it's not the salesperson that sells, it's the brand. I don't know in how far I answered your question, so.
Well, it's quite interesting, but I just also found another rephrasing of this question. How to find balance between what is most important in salesperson, his personal brand or his knowledge of industry, technical knowledge, the knowledge of the product, or salesperson could be just.
Thank you, Oleg. That is a very good question. Thank you. The most important thing is his personality. It's not the knowledge of the product. The knowledge of the product is secondary. And be careful when you hire a salesperson. I mean, I don't say it's irrelevant. Don't take me wrong on that. So he has to have, of course, an understanding about what you are selling. But it's his sales personality that breaks the ice and makes the difference. His sales skills, the way he speaks, his passion, his engagement, that is what makes the difference. That is way more important about if he knows X, Y, Z details very good. And especially what regards software sales or technical sales. So what happens most of the time is that this salesperson is organizing a discovery call where a specialist is going to explain analytically what exactly the product does. Okay, this guy most of the times is somebody that is maybe introvert, maybe an expert on this, but he doesn't have the sales skills. The sales skills, the passion, so if you find somebody that it's a great salesman, but he sold previously something very simple, hire him, doesn't matter. He's going to learn the wording, he's going to learn the product. That's less important, way less important. Absolutely.
Okay. The question, what if we would like to sell our IT outsourcing services in Europe? How could you help us with that, with your activities, with your services? Would you tell us more about your company and how you can accelerate the
Yes, that is I
sales?
think it's better to have with the person that has this question, to have a personal meeting to go through all the details. So
Yes, but just in general.
In general, okay, what we do, okay, vParagon standpoint is this. vParagon wants to have many clients, and we want to offer the best possible sales that you can buy for money on a decent price. Why is that? Because the tendency in the market is either you find call centers, which my answer to you is don't hire a call center. If you want to hire somebody, search on Upwork and find a salesperson there and hire him, but don't hire a call center. Or you find sales outsourcing companies that are very expensive. So our prices are not expensive. The reason why they're not expensive is not because we are nice guys. The reason why is because we want to have many customers where they pay us something that is okay for them to pay. They're happy to pay that. And we want to have many customers, because what we don't want to have is to be dependent from 2-3 big clients. So the way we would proceed is we would first understand your product. We would advise you on that. We will tell you our honest opinion about your product, the unique selling proposition that you have. And then if we see that there is meaning on that, we are going to engage a team of salespeople. We are going to prepare our communication. And then after the leads that we are going to generate, we are going to start engaging those leads. Mostly we do that in 2-3 different countries so that we have a representative sample. And through the meetings that we are going to have on a weekly basis, we are going to optimize this process. And eventually, after a period of 2-3 months, we are going to have measurable results, and we are going to be able to evaluate the market and see what we can do better, what we should leave, where we should put more effort.
Okay, guys, we are coming to the end of our masterclass. Yes, Daria, I see a question. We will answer this question. We're going to the end of the webinar, of the masterclass, and here's the bonus from the Alex. Yes, okay. And here's the bonus from the Alex. If you would like to sell your services in Europe, here's a special link where you can book a free meeting with Alex and tell him about the product and the services. Then you would like to sell in Europe, which countries, which products, etc. And then you can discuss with him and probably get some advices and to see if vParagon can help you out with selling this product, or services. Here's the link. It will be duplicated also in your email. And one more question.
I see a question from Daria.
Yes.
What is the sales knowledge resources you use? Okay, so I read a lot of books. and I follow a lot of guys online. The main resource that I use for my sales is my sales experience that I gathered the last 30 years that I do sales. I follow up many people. I find many people very interesting on what they have to say. If I can share with you some names, not necessarily of sales, but some guys that I found very interesting. I'm following the Wolf of Wall Street. I forget his name right now as a sales advice. I follow Mark Manson as more like a life advisor with many useful tips. I read a very interesting book regarding negotiation. I don't remember the name again. You email me and I will give you all this information. What I will try to avoid is there is a lot of trash online, and I see a lot of companies showing, mostly American companies, super successful people getting out of a Ferrari and promising dreams. There are no dreams in sales. It's hard work. It's a tough business. We don't promise to our clients wonders. Neither we tell them we're going to make them rich. We going to accelerate your sales and bring results. And be realistic. Don't follow up guys that promise dreams, because dreams don't exist.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's pretty much it. It was nice to see you. It was nice to talk to you. It was insightful. It was inspiring. Thank you very much again. It's a big honor to have you here.
Thank you, Oleg. It's a big honor to have you and to have your audience here with me. Thank you very much. I like you guys a lot, and I think you have a lot of opportunity in Europe. A lot. Trust me. Really.